Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. As you settle in for this journey tonight, I want you to find the most comfortable position you can. Perhaps you're lying on your back, with your arms resting gently at your sides, or maybe your hands are folded softly on your stomach or chest. Perhaps you're on your side, with a pillow cradling your head, your body curled in that natural position of rest and safety. Wherever you are, however you're positioned, take a moment now to make any small adjustments you need. Shift your pillow just slightly if that feels better. Let your shoulders sink a little deeper into your mattress. Allow your body to be held, completely held, by whatever surface is beneath you. And now, gently, softly, let your eyes close. There's no need to force them shut, just allow your eyelids to come together, heavy and relaxed, closing out the world, creating a space of darkness and peace behind them. Good. That's perfect. For the next hour, there is nothing you need to do. There is nowhere you need to be. There are no responsibilities waiting for you, no tasks to complete, no problems to solve. For this time, this sacred hour, you are free. Free to rest. Free to let go. Free to simply be, breathing and still and safe. Let's take 3 deep breaths together, and with each breath, you'll feel yourself settling more completely into this moment, into this peace, into this deep rest that is already beginning to embrace you. Take a slow breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely, gently, easily. And now let it go, breathing out through your mouth, releasing, softening, letting go. Another breath in, deep and slow and calm, feeling the cool air filling you, nourishing you. And breathe out, longer this time, letting the breath carry away any tension, any thoughts, any lingering tightness in your body. One more breath, in through your nose, slow and steady and peaceful. And out through your mouth, a long, soft exhale that leaves you feeling heavier, calmer, more relaxed than you were just moments ago. Beautiful. You're doing beautifully. Now, as you lie here breathing naturally, easily, I'm going to guide you on a journey. A gentle walk through an ancient forest, beneath the light of a full moon. You won't need to move, won't need to do anything at all except listen and imagine and allow yourself to drift deeper and deeper into relaxation, deeper and deeper into peace, deeper and deeper into rest. The story begins at twilight's end, in that soft moment when the last purple light has faded from the western sky and the world has given itself over completely to night. You find yourself standing at the edge of an ancient pine forest, a place untouched by time, a sanctuary of silence and shadows and silver moonlight. The forest stretches before you, vast and patient, its boundary marked by towering pine trees that rise like cathedral pillars into the star-scattered darkness above. The full moon hangs luminous and round in the clear night sky, so bright that it casts shadows, so radiant that the forest before you is bathed in its gentle, silver-blue light. This moonlight transforms everything it touches, turning the ordinary into something magical, something dreamlike, something that exists in that beautiful space between the waking world and the realm of sleep. The pine needles on the ground shimmer faintly. The bark of the great trees glows soft and gray. The air itself seems to hold light within it, as if the moonbeams have become liquid, flowing between the trees, filling every space with luminous peace. You take a step forward, crossing from the open meadow into the forest, and immediately everything changes. The temperature drops just slightly, the air becoming cooler, fresher, scented with 1,000 subtle fragrances that speak of growing things and ancient earth. The quality of sound changes too, becomes softer, more intimate, as if the forest is drawing you into its embrace, wrapping around you, welcoming you into its peaceful heart. Your feet meet the forest floor, and the sensation is immediately remarkable. You're walking on centuries of accumulated pine needles, layer upon layer of them, fallen from the great trees over decades and generations, creating a carpet that is unlike anything you've ever walked upon before. The needles compress beneath your weight with a gentle cushioning that seems to absorb not just the impact of your footsteps but the very sound itself, so that you move in near silence, like a ghost, like a dream, like a whisper passing through the night. Beneath the pine needles, you soon discover, there is moss. It begins at the edges of the path, creeping in from the bases of the enormous trees, but with each step you take deeper into the forest, the moss becomes more abundant, more luxuriant, spreading across the forest floor in thick, plush cushions that glow faintly in the moonlight like patches of captured starlight. The moss is impossibly soft, softer than any carpet, softer than velvet, softer perhaps than anything you've touched before. When you step on it, your foot sinks down into that yielding softness, compressing the moss just slightly, and in that compression there is the most exquisite sensation of being held, of being cushioned, of being supported by something gentle and alive and infinitely patient. The texture of the moss is complex, multi-layered. On the surface, it's like stepping on a cloud, but as your foot presses deeper you can feel the structure of it, the tiny stems and leaves, all woven together into a living fabric that has been growing here, slowly, patiently, for years beyond counting. The moss is cool beneath your feet, holding the coolness of the night, and slightly damp, not wet but moist, as if it has captured the evening dew and is holding it within itself like a secret. This dampness is soothing against your skin, drawing away warmth, drawing away tension, leaving behind only a sensation of refreshment and peace. You continue walking, slowly, so slowly, along the winding path that leads deeper into the forest. There's no hurry here. Time has changed in this place. Seconds stretch into minutes, minutes expand into eternities. Each step can take as long as it needs to take. Each breath can be as slow and deep as you desire. You have all the time in the world, all the time that has ever existed, to walk this path, to feel this moss beneath your feet, to breathe this air. And what air it is! The scent of the forest surrounds you now, envelops you, fills your lungs with every slow breath you take. The dominant note is pine, that clean, resinous fragrance that speaks of needles and sap and bark, of trees that have been growing here since before your grandparents were born, perhaps since before their grandparents were born. But the pine scent here is not sharp or medicinal. It has been softened by the cool night air, mellowed by the dampness rising from the moss-covered ground, transformed into something rounder, gentler, more embracing. You breathe in slowly, and the cool air flows into your nostrils, down your throat, filling your lungs with that soft pine scent. The air is the perfect temperature, neither warm enough to make you alert nor cold enough to make you tense, but existing in that ideal space where your body can simply be, without adjustment, without accommodation, without any effort whatsoever. The coolness of the air seems to flow through your entire body, calming, soothing, relaxing every muscle, every fiber, every cell. Beneath the pine, there are other scents, layered and subtle and endlessly complex. There is the rich, earthy smell of the moss, a green fragrance that speaks of slow growth and patient accumulation, of life lived at a pace so gradual that years pass like moments and moments stretch into timelessness. There is the scent of decomposing needles and leaves, not unpleasant but deeply organic, a reminder that here in the forest the cycle of growth and return continues endlessly, naturally, peacefully. There is a mineral smell, faint but distinct, the scent of ancient stone lying beneath the soil, slowly yielding to time and weather, adding its essence to the forest's breath. And there is something else, something harder to name, a freshness that seems to come from the movement of air through millions of pine needles, a scent that is almost like water but not quite, almost like the color green if green could be smelled, almost like the feeling of peace if peace could manifest as a fragrance. This scent seems to clear your mind with each breath, washing away thoughts, dissolving worries, leaving behind only a clean, empty, peaceful awareness. With each breath you take, you draw this complex symphony of scents deeper into your lungs, and with each exhalation, you feel yourself releasing more of the tension you carried into the forest, more of the urgency, more of the endless mental chatter that usually fills your waking hours. Your breathing settles into a rhythm that matches the gentle swaying of the pine boughs high above, slow and deep and steady, effortless and natural, each inhalation bringing in the cool, scented air, each exhalation letting go, softening, settling more completely into this moment, this step, this sensation of moss beneath your feet and moonlight filtering down through the branches above. The path winds deeper into the forest, and you follow it without question, without plan, without any destination in mind beyond the next step and the next breath. The great pines rise around you on all sides now, their trunks massive and straight, easily 3 or 4 feet in diameter, their bark deeply furrowed with patterns that the moonlight accentuates, creating landscapes of shadow and light on each trunk, canyons and ridges and valleys in miniature, terrains that have taken centuries to form. You pause beside one of these ancient giants, reaching out to place your palm against its bark. The texture is rough but not harsh, deeply textured, cool to the touch. You can feel the solidity of it, the absolute stability of this tree that has stood in this exact spot for hundreds of years, weathering storms and seasons, growing slowly, patiently, adding ring after ring to its hidden heart, drawing water from deep in the earth, drawing light from the sun by day, standing silent and present beneath the moon by night. Standing here with your hand on this ancient bark, you feel something shift inside you. You feel yourself connecting to the patience of the tree, to its deep-rootedness, to its ability to simply be, year after year, decade after decade, century after century. And in this connection, you feel your own mind growing quieter, stiller, more willing to simply exist in this moment without needing anything to be different than it is. You take your hand from the bark and continue walking, and your pace has slowed even more now, become even more dreamlike, even more languid. Each step unfolds in slow motion. You lift your foot, feeling the moss release it reluctantly, those thousands of tiny stems letting go strand by strand, or so it seems in your heightened awareness. Your foot moves through the cool air, and you're conscious of the slight breeze against your skin, the way the air parts to allow your passage. Your foot descends, meeting the moss again, feeling that initial contact that is barely contact at all, so soft is the moss, and then the gradual compression as your weight shifts forward, the yielding, the acceptance, the sense of being received by the earth itself. The moonlight continues to filter down through the canopy, creating pools of brightness on the forest floor, and you move from shadow to light to shadow again, each transition gentle, subtle. In the moonlit patches, you can see incredible detail, the individual pine needles scattered on the moss, the intricate lacework of lichen growing on the lower trunks of the trees, the occasional small mushroom pushing up through the carpet of needles, its cap glowing pale and ghostly in the silver light. In the shadows between, the world becomes simplified, reduced to soft shapes and gentle gradations of darkness. Here you must trust your feet to find the way, to feel the path through the moss and needles, and in this trusting you find your mind growing quieter still, more willing to let go of the need to see and understand everything, more content to simply experience, to feel, to be. The forest is not silent, but every sound it makes is gentle, is peaceful, is conducive to this deepening relaxation that has been growing in you since you first stepped onto this path. The breeze moves through the highest branches, creating a soft rushing whisper that rises and falls with a rhythm like breathing, like waves on a distant shore, like your own heartbeat gradually slowing, growing steadier, beating with less urgency and more confidence. High above, you hear the whisper of pine needles moving against each other, a sound like silk on silk, or like rain that is not quite falling, or like the voice of the forest itself murmuring words of peace and rest and deep, deep relaxation. This sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, seems to be both outside you and inside you, seems to resonate with something deep in your chest, in your body, in your very bones. Occasionally, a pine cone falls somewhere in the distance, landing on the soft forest floor with a muffled thump that reaches you not as a sharp sound but as a gentle reminder that the forest is alive, is moving, is existing alongside you in this shared moment of quiet peace. The sound is comforting rather than startling, a natural part of the forest's rhythm, no more disturbing than the sound of your own slow breathing. Once, you hear the call of an owl, a low, soft hooting that seems to come from the darkness high above, wrapping around you like the night itself has found a voice. The owl calls again, and the sound is so soothing, so perfectly matched to this moment, that you feel yourself relaxing even more deeply, your shoulders dropping another inch, your jaw unclenching, your entire body settling more completely into this experience of walking slowly through a moonlit forest where everything is soft and safe and peaceful. Your hands, hanging loosely at your sides as you walk, occasionally brush against the drooping lower branches of the pines, and when they do you feel the needles slide across your skin with a sensation that is both slightly rough and infinitely gentle, like being touched by the forest itself, like being acknowledged and welcomed. The needles are cool, and they leave behind the faintest trace of resin on your fingertips, sticky but not unpleasantly so, a tactile memory of the forest that you carry with you from step to slow step. You bring your fingers to your nose and inhale, and the scent of pine resin is stronger here, sweeter, almost intoxicating in its purity. It's the smell of the forest's lifeblood, the sap that flows beneath the bark, the essence of these ancient trees concentrated into a single drop of fragrant amber. The scent clears your sinuses, seems to clear your mind as well, leaving you feeling even more present, even more aware of the simple sensations of this moment, even more deeply relaxed. The path curves gently ahead, never straight, always following the natural contours of the land, weaving between the massive trunks of the pines, rising slightly here, dipping down there, turning left around a particularly large tree, then right again, drawing you deeper and deeper into the heart of the forest. You follow this winding path without thought, your body simply moving, simply continuing, while your mind grows quieter and quieter, more and more content to let awareness rest in sensation rather than in the endless commentary of thought. You notice that your mind has indeed grown very quiet. The constant stream of thoughts that usually fills your waking hours has slowed to a trickle, then to occasional drops, then to something that might be called silence, though it's not an empty silence but a full one, a silence rich with the sound of wind in branches, with the feeling of moss beneath your feet, with the scent of pine and earth and ancient peace. As you continue along the winding path, moving deeper and deeper into the forest's ancient heart, you begin to hear a new sound, so soft at first that you're not certain whether you're hearing it or imagining it. It's a gentle murmuring, a liquid whisper that seems to come from somewhere ahead, beyond the next curve in the path, beyond the next gathering of towering pines. With each slow step you take, the sound grows slightly clearer, slightly more distinct, revealing itself gradually as the voice of moving water, of a stream or river flowing somewhere nearby through this moonlit wilderness. The sound draws you forward, not urgently but gently, the way a half-remembered melody draws you toward its source, the way the scent of something beautiful makes you want to find its origin. You follow the path as it curves around an enormous pine, its trunk so wide that 3 people holding hands could not encircle it, and as you round this ancient giant, the forest opens before you into a clearing, and there, flowing silent and silver beneath the star-scattered sky, you see the river. It's not a rushing river, not a torrent or a rapid, but a slow-moving body of water perhaps 30 feet across, flowing from your left to your right with a movement so gentle, so languid, that it seems less like flowing and more like breathing, like the earth itself is breathing through this channel of water, inhaling and exhaling in a rhythm measured in centuries rather than seconds. The surface of the river is smooth, almost glass-like, disturbed only by the gentlest of currents that create slow, lazy swells and eddies, patterns that form and dissolve and form again in an endless, hypnotic dance. The moonlight loves this river. It pours down from the clear night sky above, unobstructed here in this clearing where the forest has stepped back from the water's edge, and it transforms the river's surface into liquid silver, into flowing mercury, into a ribbon of light that winds away through the darkness in both directions as far as your eyes can see. The water seems to glow from within, seems to have captured the moon's radiance and made it part of itself, so that the river has become not just water but light made liquid, flowing, breathing, alive with a luminescence that is both of this world and somehow beyond it. You move closer to the river's edge, your feet still cushioned by that impossibly soft moss that grows even more lush here near the water, fed by the moisture and the mist that rises from the river's surface in faint, ghostly wisps. The sound of the water is clearer now, a gentle lapping and gurgling, a liquid voice that speaks in a language without words, telling stories of the high mountains where this river was born, of the rocks and trees and animals it has flowed past, of the ocean it is slowly, patiently traveling toward, taking its time, savoring every moment of its long journey. You find a place to sit at the river's edge, a natural seat formed by the gnarled roots of an ancient willow that leans out over the water, its long, trailing branches dipping down to kiss the river's surface, creating gentle ripples that spread outward in perfect circles, intersecting and combining with other circles in patterns of mathematical beauty. The moss here is thicker than anywhere else you've encountered, a deep, plush cushion that must be 6 or 7 inches deep, and when you lower yourself onto it, you sink into that softness as if you're being embraced by the earth itself. The sensation of sitting is exquisite. The moss compresses beneath your weight, conforming to the shape of your body, supporting you perfectly, cradling you in comfort so complete that you feel you could sit here forever and never grow uncomfortable. The coolness of the moss seeps through your clothing, soothing and refreshing, drawing away any last traces of tension, any final remnants of the day's heat and stress and urgency. You lean back against the trunk of the willow, and its bark is smooth beneath your shoulders, worn by decades of weather and water to a texture like polished stone. Your legs stretch out before you, and you feel the heaviness in them, a delicious, peaceful heaviness that speaks of deep relaxation, of muscles finally allowed to let go completely. Your thighs are heavy, sinking into the moss. Your calves are heavy, resting, releasing. Even your feet are heavy now, no longer needing to carry you anywhere, simply allowed to be, to rest, to exist in this moment of perfect peace. Your arms lie at your sides, and they too are heavy, so heavy, as if they've been filled with warm sand or honey, as if gravity has increased its gentle pull on them, drawing them down, down, down toward the earth. Your hands rest palm up on the moss beside you, and you can feel each finger, heavy and relaxed, all the small muscles that usually work to grip and gesture and type and hold now completely at rest, completely released from their usual tasks. Your shoulders, which have been carrying the weight of the world all day, all week, perhaps all your life, finally let go. You feel them drop, feel the tension melting out of them like ice melting in warm water, feel them becoming soft and loose and heavy. The space between your shoulder blades spreads wider as your shoulders roll back slightly, opening your chest, allowing your breathing to deepen even more, to become even slower, even more effortless. Your neck releases its hold, and your head grows heavy against the trunk of the willow, supported, held, allowed to simply rest. Your jaw unclenches if it hasn't already, your teeth parting slightly, your tongue resting soft and heavy in your mouth. Your forehead smooths, the tiny muscles around your eyes relaxing, your eyebrows settling, all the small tensions that create expressions on your face melting away, leaving your face smooth and peaceful and heavy, so beautifully heavy. And your breathing, your slow, deep breathing continues its gentle rhythm, in and out, each breath requiring no effort, no thought, happening all by itself as naturally as the river flows, as naturally as the breeze moves through the willow branches above you. You breathe in the cool, moist air that rises from the river, air that smells of water and moss and night-blooming flowers you cannot see but can sense somewhere nearby in the darkness. You breathe out, and with each exhalation you feel yourself settling more deeply into the moss, more completely into this moment, more profoundly into a state of rest so deep that it touches something ancient in you, something that remembers how to simply be. Above you, the sky is a revelation. Here in the clearing, away from the canopy of the pines, the full glory of the night sky is revealed. The stars are scattered across the darkness in their billions, some bright and bold, others faint and shy, all of them eternal and distant and beautiful beyond words. The constellations will slowly overhead in their ancient patterns, telling stories that humans have been reading in the stars since before there were words to tell them with. But it is not in the sky that the stars are most beautiful tonight. It is in the river, in the slow-flowing water that reflects the heavens so perfectly that it seems the stars exist not above you but below you, as if you are suspended between two skies, one of darkness scattered with light, the other of liquid silver holding those same lights in its gentle embrace. You gaze into the river, and the reflection of the stars gazes back at you. Each point of starlight is doubled, mirrored in the water with such perfect clarity that you cannot tell, for a moment, which is real and which is reflection. The stars in the water shimmer and waver slightly with the river's gentle movement, creating an effect that is somehow more alive, more dynamic, more magical than the fixed points of light in the sky above. There is Orion, the hunter, striding across both the sky and the river simultaneously, his belt of 3 bright stars forming a perfect diagonal line that is echoed in the water below, wavering slightly, dancing gently with the current. The stars of his belt seem to float on the river's surface, drifting slowly from left to right with the water's languid flow, yet remaining always in the same position, held by reflection's mysterious power. You watch these 3 stars in the water, mesmerized by the way they shimmer and pulse, by the way the gentle ripples in the river make them seem to breathe, to expand and contract slowly, as if they too are inhaling and exhaling, as if the stars themselves are living things engaged in the same slow, peaceful rhythm of breathing that you are. The longer you watch, the more you feel yourself synchronizing with this rhythm, your breath matching the slow pulse of the reflected starlight, in and out, expand and contract, bright and slightly dimmer, over and over in an endless, soothing pattern. Near Orion, you can see the red star Betelgeuse, marking the hunter's shoulder, and in the river its reflection glows like a ruby, like an ember, like a drop of wine floating on the silver water. This red light mingles with the silver moonlight on the river's surface, creating subtle gradations of color, soft pinks and rose golds and the palest coral, hues so delicate that you can barely see them, that exist at the very edge of perception, dreamlike and ethereal. The Big Dipper hangs lower in the northern sky, its distinctive shape like a ladle or a drinking gourd, and in the river this constellation seems to scoop up the liquid silver itself, seems to dip into the water and hold a measure of moonlight and starlight mixed together. You trace the line of the dipper's handle, following it from the first star to the second to the third, and each star's reflection in the water follows that same curve, bending slightly with the river's gentle current, creating a line that is both straight and curved, both fixed and flowing, both solid and liquid all at once. Beyond the Big Dipper, you can see the Little Dipper, smaller and fainter, with Polaris, the North Star, at the end of its handle, shining steady and true in both sky and water. Polaris's reflection seems to anchor the river somehow, to give it a fixed point around which all the other reflected stars slowly rotate, following their ancient circular paths around this one constant, faithful light. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a river of its own, a river of stars so dense and numerous that they blur together into a cloudy band of light, and in the water below this celestial river is reflected as well, creating a double stream of light, one above and one below, and you suspended between them, held in this moment where earth and sky and water all meet, all merge, all become one seamless whole. You watch as a shooting star traces a brief, bright line across the sky, there and gone in an instant, and impossibly, miraculously, you see its reflection streak across the river as well, a momentary slash of light on the water's surface that disappears even as you're perceiving it, leaving you uncertain whether you truly saw it or imagined it, whether it was real or a dream, and in this uncertainty there is something deeply peaceful, a letting go of the need to know, to understand, to categorize and explain everything you experience. The stars in the river shift and shimmer with each gentle wave, with each breath of breeze that touches the water's surface. A slight wind moves through the clearing, and the willow branches above you respond with a soft rustling, their leaves turning and touching each other with a sound like gentle rain, and this movement of air travels down to touch the river, and the river's surface responds with a pattern of tiny ripples that race across the reflected stars, making them dance, making them seem to leap and play like living things. You watch Cassiopeia, the queen, her W-shaped constellation bright and distinctive, and in the river her reflection forms an M, inverted, transformed, made new by the mirror of water. The stars that form her shape seem to pulse gently in the river, expanding into small circles of light when a ripple passes over them, then contracting back to points, breathing in this rhythm that matches your own breath, in and out, bright and dim, expanding and contracting, over and over in a pattern so soothing that you feel you could watch it forever and never grow tired. The planet Jupiter is visible tonight, brighter than any star, hanging in the eastern sky like a lamp, and its reflection in the river is a brilliant point of light that seems to bore down into the water's depths, creating a shaft of illumination that extends below the surface, lighting the way to some underwater realm, some kingdom beneath the waves where other travelers might be resting, watching their own reflected sky, breathing in the same slow rhythm of peace and rest and deep, deep relaxation. Near Jupiter, you can see the fainter lights of several of his moons, tiny points of light that astronomers have given names, Io and Europa and Ganymede and Callisto, and in the river these two are reflected, creating a small cluster of lights around Jupiter's bright reflection, a family of celestial bodies gathered together, traveling together through the night sky and the night river simultaneously. The constellations continue their slow wheel overhead, marking the passage of time in the most gradual of measurements, and you watch their reflections in the river, watch how they drift slowly from east to west, following the rotation of the earth, though from here, from this place of perfect stillness, it seems instead that the sky is moving, that the stars are traveling, and you are the still point, the center, the peaceful observer around which the universe revolves. Between the stars, the darkness of the sky is reflected in the river as well, and this darkness is not empty but rich, full, deep. It's a darkness that holds mysteries and possibilities, a darkness that is restful rather than frightening, comforting rather than ominous. The dark patches on the river seem to have depth and dimension, seem to extend down and down and down into infinite space, and yet you feel no fear looking into them, only a sense of peace, of being cradled by this darkness as much as by the light. The wind moves through the clearing again, and the sound it makes is a layered symphony of gentle voices. There is the rustling of the willow leaves, a soft shushing sound like whispered secrets or like the ocean heard from a great distance. There is the creaking of branches, a low, musical groaning as the willow sways gently, moving in ways it has moved for decades, it's with knowing this dance, comfortable with it, finding peace in it. After a time that could be minutes or hours, for time has no meaning here beside this river of stars, you feel a gentle pull, a soft beckoning, calling you to continue your journey. You rise slowly from the moss, your body heavy and relaxed, moving with the languid grace of someone half asleep, half dreaming. The moss releases you reluctantly, springs back slowly to its original shape, holding the impression of your body for a moment before erasing it, keeping your presence as a secret. You follow the path as it continues along the river's edge for a while, the water flowing beside you like a companion, its surface still reflecting the wheeling stars, still glowing with that liquid silver light. The sound of the water accompanies you, a gentle lullaby, a peaceful murmuring that seems to say sleep, sleep, rest, peace, over and over in its wordless language. Then the path curves away from the river, leading you back into the forest, though the trees here are different, more varied. There are still pines, yes, but now there are also birches with their white bark glowing ghostly in the moonlight, and oaks with their broad, sheltering canopies, and maples whose leaves whisper differently than the pines, with a softer, fuller sound. The forest here feels gentler somehow, more domestic, as if you are approaching something, somewhere, some destination that has been waiting for you all along. And then, through the trees ahead, you see a light. Not the silver light of the moon or the white light of the stars, but a warm, golden, amber light that glows softly in the darkness, beckoning, welcoming, promising shelter and safety and rest. You move toward this light, drawn to it as naturally as a moth to a flame, but with none of the danger, only the deep instinct that tells you this light means home, means warmth, means peace. The trees part, and there before you stands a small wooden cabin, so perfectly situated in a tiny clearing that it seems to have grown there naturally, like another tree, like another part of the forest. The cabin is built of dark wood, logs fitted together with expert care, weathered by time and seasons to a rich, deep brown that seems to absorb the moonlight. The roof is steep and covered with wooden shingles, and a stone chimney rises from one end, and from this chimney comes a thin wisp of smoke that curls up into the night sky, dissipating into the darkness, carrying with it the scent of burning wood. The warm light you saw comes from a window, a large window with small panes of glass that glow amber and gold from the firelight within. The window is like an eye, like a welcoming gaze, looking out into the forest, and as you approach you can see through it into the cabin's single room, and what you see makes something deep inside you sigh with relief and longing. You walk to the cabin's door, a sturdy wooden door with an iron handle worn smooth by countless hands before yours. The handle is cool beneath your palm, and when you press down and push, the door swings open with a low creak that is somehow comforting, the sound of old wood and old iron doing what they have done for years upon years. The warmth that flows out to meet you is extraordinary. After the cool night air of the forest, the cabin's warmth embraces you like a physical thing, like arms wrapping around you, like a blanket being draped over your shoulders. The temperature inside is perfect, not hot but warm, the kind of warmth that seeps into your bones and makes you realize how cold you had become, how much you needed this. You step inside and close the door behind you, and the sound of it shutting is the sound of the world being closed out, of all worries and responsibilities and tasks being left outside, unable to follow you here, unable to reach you in this sanctuary. The cabin is simple and perfect. The walls are the same dark wood as the exterior, unadorned except for the dancing shadows cast by the fire. The floor is made of wide wooden planks, smooth and worn, with a large, thick rug in the center, woven in patterns of deep red and golden brown, colors that echo the fire, that seem to hold warmth even in their fibers. And the fire is magnificent. It burns in a large stone fireplace that takes up most of one wall, and it is not a roaring fire but a steady, contented fire, the kind that has been burning for hours and will burn for hours more, needing nothing, demanding nothing, simply existing in its glowing, crackling perfection. The flames dance in shades of amber and gold and orange, with occasional flickers of blue at the base where the fire is hottest, where the wood is being transformed most completely from solid to gas, from matter to light and heat, and the gentle smoke that rises up the chimney. The logs in the fire are thick and substantial, glowing red beneath their coating of white ash, pulsing gently like living hearts, like the slow beating of the earth's own pulse. You watch the flames as they move, as they leap and curl and fold back upon themselves in patterns that are never the same twice, that follow no predictable rhythm, that surprise and delight your eyes with their constant variation, their endless creativity. A flame rises up the left side of a log, tall and bright, reaching toward the chimney like a dancer stretching toward the sky. It wavers, bends, seems to bow, then breaks apart into smaller flames that scatter and merge with other flames in a dance so complex and beautiful that you could watch it for hours and never grow tired. The sound the fire makes is equally mesmerizing. There is the crackling, that beloved sound that everyone knows, the sharp little pops and snaps as pockets of moisture or resin in the wood are heated and expand and burst. These sounds come irregularly, unexpectedly, sometimes soft, sometimes sharper, creating a rhythm that is not quite random and not quite ordered, a natural music that is infinitely soothing to some ancient part of your brain that remembers when fire meant safety, meant survival, meant family and warmth and home. Beneath the crackling there is a deeper sound, a low rushing whisper as the flames consume the wood, as air flows into the fire and feeds it, as the heat rises and draws more air behind it in an endless cycle. This sound is constant, a baseline beneath the crackling melody, a reminder that the fire is alive, is breathing, is engaged in its eternal transformation of wood into warmth and light. Occasionally there is a louder pop, and a small shower of sparks rises up, glowing orange and gold, floating upward like tiny stars, like fireflies, dancing in the column of heat before winking out one by one as they cool. You watch these sparks with fascination, with delight, each tiny point of light a small miracle, a brief and beautiful existence that asks nothing except to be witnessed. The shadows the fire casts on the walls are constantly shifting, constantly changing. They stretch and shrink as the flames rise and fall. They dance across the wooden planks like living things, like spirits of the forest come inside to keep you company, to remind you that you are not alone, that you are held and watched over and safe. The shadows are not frightening here but comforting, a natural part of the light, the necessary contrast that makes the warmth visible, that gives it shape and form and substance. You turn from the fire and see the bed, and the sight of it makes you aware of just how tired you are, how heavy your limbs have become, how much your body longs to lie down, to be horizontal, to surrender completely to rest. The bed is large and positioned beneath the window, so that someone lying in it could look out at the forest, could watch the moonlight and the stars, could be inside and outside simultaneously. The bed frame is made of the same dark wood as the cabin, sturdy and simple and beautiful in its functionality. But it is the bed itself, the mattress and the bedding, that calls to you with an almost irresistible pull. The mattress is thick and appears impossibly soft, covered with white linens that seem to glow in the firelight, that look crisp and clean and cool. On top of the sheets there is a thick quilt, hand-stitched in a pattern of interlocking circles, made from fabrics in deep blues and greens and golds, colors of the forest and the night sky and the fire all combined. And on top of the quilt there are pillows, large, plump pillows that promise to cradle your head with perfect softness, perfect support. You move toward the bed, your feet silent on the wooden floor, then muffled by the thick rug. You sit on the edge of the mattress, and even this simple act is a revelation. The mattress compresses beneath you, welcoming your weight, conforming to the shape of your body, and you can feel the quality of it, the layers of softness that will hold you through the night, that will support you without resistance, that will allow you to sleep more deeply than you have slept in longer than you can remember. You swing your legs up onto the bed, feeling the cool smoothness of the sheets against your skin, and you lie back, your head sinking into the pillows, and the sensation is of being embraced, of being held by something that wants nothing from you except to help you rest, to help you let go, to help you surrender to sleep. The pillow beneath your head is filled with something soft and natural, perhaps down, perhaps the finest feathers, and it yields to the weight of your head while still providing support, creating a perfect cradle, a perfect nest. You feel your neck relax completely, all the muscles that have been holding your head upright all day finally allowed to release their tension, to soften, to let the pillow do the work. You reach down and pull the quilt up over your body, and the weight of it is perfect, substantial enough to make you feel covered, protected, cocooned, but not so heavy as to be restrictive or uncomfortable. The quilt holds warmth like a living thing, and as you settle beneath it you feel that warmth beginning to radiate through your body, seeping into your muscles, your bones, your very cells, releasing the last vestiges of tension, the last bits of holding on, the last fragments of resistance to this rest that is now upon you. From the bed, you can see the fire through half-closed eyes. The flames continue their endless dance, their eternal transformation of wood to light. The crackling continues, soft pops and gentle whispers, a lullaby older than language. The shadows continue their play across the walls, across the ceiling, gentle and rhythmic and endlessly soothing. You can see through the window beside the bed, out into the forest where moonlight still filters through the branches, where the stars still wheel overhead in their ancient patterns. You are inside and outside, warm and aware of coolness, protected and still connected to the vast night beyond these walls. Your body sinks deeper into the mattress. With each breath, you feel yourself settling more completely, the mattress rising up around you slightly, conforming more perfectly to your shape, holding you in an embrace that is both firm and soft, both supportive and yielding. Your shoulders sink down, deeper into the pillows. Your hips settle more completely into the mattress. Your legs, heavy and relaxed, seem to merge with the bed, to become part of it. The warmth of the quilt and the warmth from the fire combine, creating a cocoon of perfect temperature around your body. You are not too warm and not too cool, but existing in that ideal state where your body can simply be, where it requires no adjustment, no movement, no effort whatsoever to maintain comfort. Your breathing has become so slow, so deep, so effortless. Each inhalation brings in air that smells of wood smoke and pine and clean linen. Each exhalation releases you more completely into the bed, into the moment, into the approaching sleep that you can feel drawing near like a gentle tide, like a soft fog, like a blanket being pulled slowly over your consciousness. Your eyelids are so heavy now. They close, and even if you wanted to open them, you're not sure you could. The darkness behind your closed eyes is peaceful, welcoming, rich with the soft orange glow of the fire that penetrates even through your eyelids, creating a warm, dark red hue that pulses gently with each flicker of the flames. You are drifting now, floating on the edge of sleep, in that beautiful space between waking and dreaming where everything is soft and slow and peaceful. Thoughts arise and dissipate like bubbles, barely forming before they pop and disappear, leaving behind only stillness, only quiet, only peace. The crackling of the fire grows softer, or perhaps you are simply moving away from it, sinking down and down into layers of sleep, into depths of rest where sounds become distant, where the world becomes a faraway thing, where nothing can reach you, nothing can disturb you. Drifting deeper, sinking down. The bed holds you. The warmth surrounds you. The fire whispers. Your breathing slows. In, out, slow, deep, heavy, soft, letting go, releasing, sinking, down, down into softness, down into warmth, down into darkness that is safe and gentle. The mattress holds you. The quilt covers you. The pillows cradle you. Everything is soft. Everything is warm. Everything is peaceful. Your body is heavy. So heavy. Relaxed. Still. Breathing. Slowly. Sleep is here now. All around you. Inside you. You are sleep. Sleep is you. No difference anymore. Just rest. Just peace. Just this soft darkness. This gentle warmth. This perfect stillness. Breathing. Slow. Deep. Heavy. The fire crackles softly. Far away. So far away now. The shadows dance. Gentle. Slow. The forest breathes outside. The stars wheel overhead. The river flows. And you are here. In this bed. In this warmth. In this peace. Sinking. Deeper. Softer. Sleep. Just sleep. Deep. Deep sleep. Warm. Safe. Peaceful. Breathing. In. Out. Slow. Rest. Peace. Sleep.